Welcome to the electric scooter comparison test we've been dying to conduct for a long time. These are the 4 best electric scooters you can currently buy, and like you, we ourselves have been wondering, which is the best e-scooter of them all? Now, we've been riding these scooters for hundreds of kilometers across Mumbai for an entire week. To my left are EVs from 2 of the most reputed and established Indian two-wheeler manufacturers, TVS and Bajaj. And to my right are EVs from 2 of the most well-known Indian EV startups. Now, e-scooter here has an edge over the other in certain parameters, and after all of these days, I can tell you that there is no easy answer in figuring out which one is the best. If you are wondering why the recently launched Vida V1 is not part of this comparison, it is because the scooter will be available only from December 2022 onwards. So, for now, let's concentrate on these 4 scooters that are currently available. What we've done is put these scooters through the kind of usage cycles that a typical scooter rider would put them through. From commuting to the office, ferrying a passenger around, and even dealing with range anxiety. And here's what we think will suit your needs based on certain parameters that you'd consider as part of your buying decisions. Starting with performance. Instant torque and rapid acceleration are some of the reasons why we love electric vehicles, right? So if performance is important for you, the Ola and Ather are far ahead of the TVS and Bajaj. The Ola S1 Pro is the most powerful e-scooter here. And needless to say, it is the quickest to cross 60 kph and even 80 kph with quite a margin to the others. Even its top speed at a VBox verified 99.8 km an hour is much higher than the Ather, which tops out at a GPS rated 80 kph. Indicated top speeds for both are 115 for the Ola and 90 kph on the Ather. If you're looking for a quick city and highway scooter owing to its higher top speed, the Ola S1 Pro is unbeatable. But that being said, this scooter is slower than the Ather from 0 to 30 kph, and the initial acceleration is also dull in comparison to that scooter. More annoying is the fact that it cuts power when you touch the brakes. That could put you in a bad situation in heavy, slow-moving traffic or while taking a U-turn. It also makes steep hill starts challenging. The Chetak also does this, but not as aggressively as the Ola, and you rarely notice it on the Bajaj. Now, in the past, we've also seen the Ola S1 Pro drop from hyper mode to normal within a few minutes of riding hard and fast in order to cope with thermal issues. With the move to the Move OS 2 operating system, however, the scooter stayed in hyper mode for longer before switching to normal, which means you have access to the highest level of performance for a longer duration. In case of the Ather 450X, however, things are a lot different. The Ather's heat management is so good that you can ride the scooter in warp mode all the time as long as your battery state of charge is above 20%. In fact, this scooter has the most natural accelerator response of all these scooters. More importantly, performance in every mode remains consistent and predictable no matter the state of charge. For instance, the Ather 450X's Eco mode is quite usable even when the battery percentage falls below 10%. The scooter will also climb flyovers at such a low state of charge, albeit up to 40 kph. Switch the Ather to ride mode and you'll find it offers enough performance for quick daily commutes. In case of the Ola S1 Pro, however, the Eco mode is bothersome. It restricts the acceleration to a pace that is borderline dangerous when surrounded by fast-moving city traffic, and also makes it impossible to climb steep gradients. Hence, while the other 3 scooters are perfectly usable in their eco modes, with the Ola, we'd recommend you go at least 1 mode higher to the normal mode. All said, the Ather 450X and Ola S1 Pro are going to satiate the needs of those looking for a performance-oriented e-scooter. On the contrary, performance isn't the priority for the iQube and the Bajaj, and these scooters are aimed at those who are looking for a comfortable city commuter. That being said, the iQube has a slight upper hand over the Bajaj. Accelerating from standstill, the iQube S gets up to 40 kph quickly, but also in a manner that won't overwhelm the rider. That's something those new to EVs will like. Eco mode caps the speed to 50 kph, which is the typical pace in most cities, while power mode allows you to hit an indicated 80 kph. The ability to hold these speeds means the iQube doesn't feel out of place on a faster flowing highway as well. What will take time getting used to on an iQube is its aggressive motor regen when you shut the throttle. We think it's a little too strong and doesn't feel very natural, although this is something the company can address in a software update. In comparison, the Chetak focuses on offering adequate performance in the city, and while it is the slowest to get to 40 kph or even 60 kph, the difference in time taken to get there in comparison to the TVS isn't much. What all of us also appreciated is that the Chetak switches automatically from Eco to Sport mode if you twist the accelerator grip past the halfway mark. So, say in situations where you want to pull a quick overtake while climbing a flyover, there is no need to hunt for the mode switch and demand more performance as you'd have to in case of the rest of the scooters. That being said, the Chetak's 69 kph indicated top speed feels a little compromised on Mumbai's wider and faster roads. As a city scooter, however, the Chetak's performance is enough. Another aspect that makes the Chetak a nice, comfortable city scooter is the way one is seated on it. The Chetak's riding position, as you can clearly see, is quite normal and the one we like the most. The floorboard is set at an appropriate height in comparison to the handlebar, while the seat is quite wide and comfortable. It is a similar story with the iQube, so if comfort is your priority or you're on the well-fed side of the weighing scale like me, these are scooters you'd want to choose. Moreover, TVS and Bajaj's decades of two-wheeler manufacturing experience is possibly why they've nailed the ergonomics on their respective scooters. In the case of the Ola and Ather, their relative inexperience and obvious packaging constraints with regards to the dimensions of their scooters translate to compromises with ergonomics. The Ather is the least comfortable of the lot by some margin, with the smallest seat and a high-set floorboard resulting in a cramped riding position, especially for riders taller than 5 feet 10 inches. The Ola S1 Pro is definitely comfier than the 450X with a flat, long seat and tall handlebar helping matters. However, in this company, you can tell that the Ola's floorboard is a little too tall and the curved shape of the floorboard restricts room for you to place your feet comfortably. Moreover, it's the only scooter here that has a large spine in the middle of the floorboard, and that compromises your ability to store a bag or items at your feet. That, however, is made up for by the huge boot that the Ola S1 Pro provides. Now, Ola has been quite clever with the packaging of this scooter by placing the batteries down here, and that liberates a lot of boot space. This is one massive boot and it is larger than any of these scooters over here. You can keep your charger in here and still have enough space to carry your office bag or your groceries and whatnot. The Ather 450X has the second biggest boot at 22 litres, which is sufficient to carry daily essentials. However, carrying the portable charger inside does limit the available cargo volume. Similarly, the iQube's 17-litre trunk is just about adequate to ferry a few items with its large portable charger in it. Lastly, while the Chetak is one of the most comfy scooters here, there are some usability aspects where it falls short of expectations. The way the company has packaged the battery and onboard charger hampers boot space. While it has the third largest trunk at 18 litres, the cavity is shallow. But on the other hand, it is the only scooter here with a glove box which allows you to store the compact charger, while in the other scooters you have to carry the larger chargers in their boot. While we are on the topic of chargers, there's one crucial aspect about EVs that you have to consider on the basis of your usage pattern, and that is the battery range. The way we tested these scooters for range was to run them from full till the batteries were completely dead in eco and sport modes. We rode keeping a slightly higher pace than the average two-wheeler traffic around us, but never going slower or significantly faster. In eco mode, we kept the speeds capped at about 45 kph, and in sport, that rose to 55 kph. If you ride excessively slowly, you can get better range than we did, and similarly, if you ride aggressively, you can get much lower numbers than you see here. The Ola S1 Pro has the largest battery and hence there is no beating it when it comes down to range. What one must note is that the performance and top speed of each scooter reduces significantly as the SOC drops below 5%. The Chetak and Ola drop their performance sooner than the others as the battery drops, and the Bajaj won't allow you to ride in sport mode below 30% SOC. The Ola also reduces its indicated range figure faster than you'd expect once the battery level gets low. So, despite the fact that the Chetak and iQube have similar looking range numbers, the Bajaj restricts its performance sooner to achieve that. The Ather remains a scooter with the most accurate range indicator here, and you can trust it blindly. We also like that it can hold a decent 35 to 40 kph right till it dies. As for the fast charging capabilities, the Ather and Ola are the only ones that can be hooked to proprietary fast chargers. However, unlike the Ather's ever-growing fast charging networks that are currently active, Ola's network is still in its setup phase. The fast charging facility for the S1 Pro will be activated with the launch of the Move OS 3 software update that is expected to roll out by Diwali 2022. It's a point here and a point there when you consider practicality, comfort and range. But which scooter would one choose if an exciting riding experience is the part of the buying criteria?
I can't help but feel good. I can't help but feel fine. Everything is in its place and everything is mine.
The Ather's lightweight, communicative chassis, short wheelbase and these grippy tires are what help it earn the tag of one of the best handling electric scooters in the market. So whether you're riding through traffic or commuting in a corner, this is one fantastic tool. On the flip side, the 450X's stiff suspension setup, though great for handling, isn't good for tackling Mumbai's poor roads. At low speeds, the ride is relatively harsh, with the small seat adding to the discomfort. There's an improvement in the ride quality as speeds rise, but those who place comfort as a top priority should avoid this scooter. The Ola S1 Pro, on the other hand, rides much better with a single-sided telescopic front and monoshock suspension setup. It deals with bumpy roads quite effectively while keeping the scooter planted around undulating corners. The fact that it has the widest tires here also aids handling to an extent. That being said, the front suspension does feel a bit firm and juddery over bumps, and there's also a sense of nervousness that arises every time you hit a big pothole after those few cases of suspension failure were shared online. The TVS iQube strikes a nice balance between ride and handling. Its telescopic fork has a soft setup compared to the preload adjustable twin shocks at the rear. That allows the scooter to soak up a lot of bumps and potholes, but the front end also bottoms out a little too easily over bigger bumps. As for the handling, it is quite predictable, especially once you get used to the sensation of an electric motor attached to the rear wheel. The steering on a test Chetak felt a little odd, and it felt as if the scooter wanted to tip in too soon, especially while taking left turns. In fact, at slow speeds, the steering feels a little heavy and that takes some getting used to. But once speeds rise, the stability is good and this is a decent handler. The brakes on all scooters are effective, despite the TVS and Bajaj being the ones making do with a drum at the rear. However, inexperienced riders will find the Ather's brakes to be quite sharp. Since it, as well as the other scooters here, don't have ABS, braking on slippery wet roads requires one to be cautious. Being the most new age, technologically advanced scooters, you would expect them to pack a ton of features, and in that department, they don't disappoint. Firstly, all scooters feature Bluetooth connectivity, music controls and hook up to their proprietary mobile apps. They also have all LED lights. The S1 Pro has a rather crisp touchscreen display with plenty of information and controls for various functions. It is also the only scooter here that doesn't have a key and requires a passcode to unlock and activate the scooter. The cruise control feature is quite useful if you intend to ride over long distances on the highway, but the onboard speakers to play music are a feature that's unique in this segment. The Ather 450X is the other scooter here with a touchscreen display, and we found it to be the most intuitive of the lot. It recently received a 2GB RAM upgrade that has improved responsiveness. However, the onboard Google Maps still takes a while to upload. The iQube S's new display is larger and crisper than before, and using the iQube app, one can get call, SMS alerts, Instagram notifications, and more. What irritated us is that the screen changes its colors and graphics when you roll off the throttle and the motor goes into regen. This makes the screen flicker constantly in heavy traffic where you are on and off the accelerator, which can get quite disturbing, especially at night. Switching the display to night mode helps, but this is something you have to manually do. Lastly is the Chetak that has the most basic looking LCD display. It is quite information heavy and difficult to read in bright daylight. That said, features like hill hold, keyless start and stop, and electronic boot release add to the premiumness, and we find this keyless system easier and more secure to use than the Olas. As for glitches, there were a few on 3 out of the 4 scooters. With the Ola, the electronic seat lock system repeatedly thinks that the boot is open when in fact it is shut. This means the TFT display didn't let us actually open the boot, and the only way to get around that was to conduct a hard reset of the operating system. The TVS's display once had an anomaly where it showed a higher range in power mode instead of eco. Restarting the scooter fixed this. The park assist button to engage reverse had gotten sticky after exposure to rain. However, the big surprise was when the scooter shut down suddenly while on the move on our first day with it and wouldn't restart. After it was trailered away, we were told that a software bug was said to have caused the issue. It hasn't happened since, so hopefully it's a one-off incident. The Bajaj Chetak test scooter we'd initially got showed an earthing fault and wouldn't charge despite hooking it up to multiple ports. It looks like the issue might have been with water getting into the charging socket, although we are not sure how that happened. The replacement scooter, however, was fine, except for the glove box that wouldn't easily open when the charger wasn't stored inside. Which brings us to the Ather 450X. Whether it is the test unit or the Generation 2 Ather 450X long-termer that I'm currently riding, the scooter has run glitch-free. That just showcases how well engineered the product is and also highlights the head start Ather has over the other 3. And with that, we can now proceed to the conclusion of this exhaustive e-scooter comparison test. Let's start with the Ola S1 Pro because this scooter on paper is quite impressive. Whether it's performance, features, boot space, battery range, this scooter trumps the rest of the scooters in this test. In fact, with the recent software updates, the number of glitches that we faced have reduced. That being said, there is one critical area where we found this product to be lacking. What really holds you back from putting full faith in Ola is the poor reputation it has garnered. The company's social media is flooded with unhappy customers venting their frustration because of various issues, from registration issues to minor electronic glitches to major vehicular problems. The scooter has also gotten a lot more expensive since it was launched, and it now costs Rs 1.52 lakh on road in Mumbai. All of this probably explains why the sales have dropped significantly over the last 3 months and only went up again after the company started to offer significant discounts and launched the cheaper S1 scooter with less performance and range. It would appear that Ola has quite an uphill task when it comes to winning back widespread customer confidence. The Chetak makes for a very nice city machine, and with its attention to detail and metal body, it feels like the most special, best built scooter here. But despite these glowing qualities, you can't ignore the fact that it has the least performance and range and a basic display, especially when you consider the high price. Which brings us to the most expensive and the most affordable scooters here. Now, if you're looking for a practical EV from a reputed manufacturer with good range and good performance, as well as at a good price, the TVS iQube is the one for you. But if you're looking for a sporty scooter that looks futuristic and is the most technologically advanced while also being glitch-free, this is the scooter to go for. At Rs 1.56 lakhs on the road in Mumbai, the Ather costs the most, but as a well-engineered product, it justifies the price. The only thing that drags it down is the compromises you have to deal with in terms of its uncomfortable suspension and ergonomics, especially for tall riders. At the end of the day, these are urban runabouts and comfort is a very important factor. Therefore, It is the TVS iQube S that emerges as the most well-rounded e-scooter. We'd like to see some improvements to its motor regen and TFT display, but that is forgivable considering that it is the most affordable scooter here by a huge margin at Rs 1.26 lakh. In the rapidly evolving electric scooter market, these factors are enough to make the iQube S our pick of the moment.